Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Mass. Here we have Simp Squad on Blue-Red Delver versus Basic Land Swamp on SnOko. We see a Brainstorm here for Simp Squad, fetching out a Volcanic Island. Now this is the top four, so they may be aware of each other's lists at this stage of the tournament. Maybe making some minor adjustments based off of that if Simp Squad feels like this Basic Land Swamp list is not going to be able to punish him for getting dual lands. It may be more attractive to have more access to more colors compared to playing against a Delver strategy where you are always going to be worried about wastelands. A pair of fetches and a fetch in response, grabbing yet another Volcanic. So at this stage, Simp Squad likely convinced there's no opposing wastelands. And we've got a Stifle on one of those. And it's going to grab a Basic Island. Blue-Red Delver, still no threat down. The longer this goes, the more it's going to favor the SnOko list. Though Dreadhorde Arcanist could prove me wrong. If this guy sticks around, he does potentially generate a tremendous amount of card advantage. We've got a Astrolabe, Basic Plains, and Swords to Plowshares. Another Dreadhorde Arcanist. And we see a Mystic Sanctuary, which will be able to rebuy pretty soon. A Swords to Plowshares, but for now, card advantage shifting back to Simp Squad. This Dreadhorde drawing a couple extra cards. I mean, +1 cards to hand. Flashing back Brainstorm, so much stronger. And now we're going to go to blocks. Lightning Bolt. And stifling the fetch as opposed to the card draw off of the Ice Fang Coatl. Baby Teferi coming down, and that is going to get a Force of Will pitching Delver of Secrets. And I kind of... This is some interesting lines here. Force pitching back. And an additional force. That's how worried about Teferi Delver is. I mean, that is an awful lot of resources to expend there. Another Astrolabe. And Simp Squad without a significant clock here. There we go. Young Peasy shows up. Dreadhorde swings right out of the gate. We've got a clock now. So we got Dreadhorde, Young Pyromancer, plus that token's 4 damage a turn, plus all additional spells generating a 1/1 creature. Any instants or sorceries, that is. Likely not going to need to commit any more creatures. Probably don't want to versus a deck like this, as you do have to play around sweepers. A Swords to Plowshares put back on top. Astrolabe drawing it. And Dreadhorde perceived to be the bigger threat here. Young Pyromancer, only 3 damage a turn. That's going to be a 5-turn clock. And I believe Basic Land Swamp actually has a Terminus in hand, so could get to the point where that just gets hard cast. Another Dread Horde committed to the board. Terminus can be brainstormed on top or just cast. A Euro. He is a big boy. Ponder. Seeing an Oko, and there's some powerful effects floating around here. Euro can actually be cast off of all of these astrolabes. Card is incredibly good. Really gives a whole new level of deck construction. I am super happy with the printing. Dual lands are not the only way to build your mana base here. You can have a ton of basics and still have a bunch of different color options, but at some cost and some benefit. I mean, you're drawing cards off of the astrolabes. It is a card that is rarely dead. Chain Lightning. And this is a tough situation. 3 mana. Oko. I don't feel like Oko is going to be enough here. It's going to stand up, make an elk. Swords to Plowshares, the Dread Horde Arcanist. And Lightning Bolt is going to do it. So taking that elk out of the way, plenty of damage to crash through. And that Terminus was not able to show up at any point. Mana shy and just didn't have any type of brainstorm to go along with it. Looks like some red elemental blasts. Powerful sideboard option versus blue-red Delver. As an aside, I do recall back in the day, I used to play a deck with Daze in it. Force of Will, Daze, Gush, Miracle Grow. Had many variants on that and would do quite well with them. Played a lot of Vintage back in the day. And I recall a player really just frustrated trying to figure out how to beat Daze. It was just always beating him. He was playing kind of fair decks, things like Goblins that wanted to use the curve. And he ended up, while playing Goblins, decided he was going to sideboard Red Blasts to counter my Dazes. It was a conversation to get him to understand that he could just pay the 1 for Daze instead of paying 1 to Red Blast the Daze. That was a real learning experience. Some education was done that day. Of course, here at the ELD Opens, a much higher level of play. They are open to everyone, but we do get some of New England's best players showing up. Always appreciate the support. It is unclear, as of recording this video, exactly what the coming events will look like, if we're going to have to be capping to 25 players, to 10 players, to completely closing down in the short term. We shall see. But I do have a huge backlog of videos to do commentary on, so even if we don't have weekly events, I've got Legacy, probably for months. I've got a bunch of weeklies from early this year and late last year, so worst case scenario, they're missing a couple of key printings, but to be fair, most of the exciting key printings got banned anyways, things like Underworld Dreams. So no fireworks yet here. Blue-red Delver A slow start. And basic land swamp, no astrolabe, so these Pyroblast and Red Blast are going to feel a little bad if he needs to defend it. Looks like a basic forest. And going to flash in a Ice Fang Coatl, which gets dazed. And that sequencing is no good, given the extra 1/1 body. If you're going to commit to casting the Ice Fang, you want to do it in response to the Young Pyromancer. That may actually make them consider whether or not they actually want to daze it, as it might open them up to be able to not be able to defend their Pyromancer if you have a Force of Will. Young Pyromancer turning sideways. Even with an Ice Fang out, still be able to generate a bunch of 1/1s. But it's definitely much worse when the extra 2 damage a turn is coming in for the control deck. And we might see an Oko here. Oko plus make some food. Has a ton of loyalty. And that is exactly it. He's got Red Blast backup. Food next turn can become a 3/3 and really slow the tide. Ooh, but Lightning Bolt ticks down his loyalty. He's only got 3 loyalty left. Wasteland clears the volcanic. And Oko, just like that, is cleared, and this is going catastrophically here for basic land swamp. This team has its hopes on this match, and they are starting to run thin. Ponder. We see Council's Judgment, but I mean, there's just so many threats on the other side. May have been time to shuffle. Yeah, I think it's probably time to shuffle, unless there was a Terminus in there that I didn't see. Trigger. Going with the extra damage of a Lightning Bolt to the face. 1 more body joins the field thanks to Young Pyromancer. I guess he missed that trigger. Brainstorm. Oh no, he's using the Remarkable tokens. Making some dry erase deck dividers that double as a reusable token. Having some fun with that. Probably have more time to play around with the design work on those, given the global pandemic. If you're watching this in the future, this is the week the world collectively went through quite a experience. We will see how accurately it was understood in the future. Everybody just trying to do their part. Terminus shows up and does its part, completely wiping Blue-Red Delver's side of the board, but 3 life, not a ton. Now there is a food which can be sacrificed to gain some life. Dreadhorde Arcanist. And a Delver. This food gonna need to be sacrificed during the end step to have any chance going up to 6. Mystic Sanctuary. Coming in. Delver mercifully not flipping. But that will be the last time. We've got a Ponder coming in. Actually, a Brainstorm, even better. Sim Squad certain to flip the Delver next turn. There's going to be 4 damage coming in, or 2 damage coming in. meaning next turn it'll be lethal with a flipped Delver. Alright. Well, I mean, he can Council's Judgment. He can get rid of this Delver. It does need to be Delver, however. This Dreadhorde Arcanist will continue to go on. Looks like he's going to use the Council's Judgment here. Could have also Pyroblasted. Now, Pyroblast won't remove the Dreadhorde Arcanist. Oh, and just flashing in the Brazen Borrower to do the final 3. Force and Pyroblast not going to be enough. And Simp Squad taking that one down. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.